Greetings, folks. Nice to see you today. My name is Dustin Cormier, and welcome to How to Rock Astrology. It's my new channel happening where I got new fancy things going on. Same old me, new channel. Thank you for coming. Today we are going to read about what it's like when you have the Sun in Libra and Mars in Virgo. It's continuing on our Mars and Virgo series. We're going to talk a little bit about it. It's got its positives, it's got its negatives. But first, if you want to know a little bit more about me, visit my website, dustincormier.net, where you can read my psychedelic erotica poetry book. And here is a glimpse of all of the main columns of my chart, just so you can get a sense of who I am when you hear about how I talk about astrology. I'm a Vedic astrologer by sort of newly expansive mode, but I'm steeped in the tradition of Western astrology. I'm always trying to bring the Vedic gnosis to the Western world of astrology to show what the Western astrology is missing in the Vedic gnosis. But today in particular, I'm just being sexy. I got Sun, Mars, conjunct in Scorpio, and I like getting juicy sometimes. So we're mostly going to be talking at a cosmic level in my own interpretation of these symbols. And then in the end, we're going to talk about erotic astrology and what it means to you as a bedfellow. Welcome. First things first, I'd like to point out the fact that with this combination, we have both planets that are really dank in the debilitation factor. Each planet, wherever you put it, chimes and vibes to the tune of the sign that it's in. The sign is like the field which holds the energy and is the shell through which the seed of the planet's energy expresses itself. When you have a planet like Mars and the Sun that are very hot, they don't do all that great in either of these signs. It's kind of like an apple tree trying to grow where you would typically grow like a coconut. You know, coconuts require a different sort of soil, more of a southern hemisphere-ish sort of like vibe. And you're trying to grow an apple tree where there's more soil, more suitable for a different temperament, right? The Sun being super fiery is the Sun, and its enemies with Libra. Mars also being fiery, Mercury is an enemy to Mars. So both these planets have this at their disadvantage. Also, both these planets are quite close to their debilitation point. I'm just saying all these things just to give you a sense of what's going on with this energy. You'll see that there is a positive in the sense that Libra and Virgo do get along, and that's a positive. But for the sake of it, let's consider that Sun is fully debilitated in Libra, and Mars is quite close to its debilitation point by being in Virgo. Mars always does best when it can cultivate a solid sense of how it can stay alive, stay firing, and keep doing the things that the Sun wishes to express, wishes to attract, more like project. The Sun projects what it wants. Here the Sun is in Libra, and the Sun is trying to project the refined aesthetic sensibilities and coolness and likability and harmony and harmoniousness. And Mars is trying to do what it can to gather and cultivate and fixate on relationships, on opportunities, on things which will express and align with the Sun in Libra's desire for that aesthetic sense and tastefulness and refinement and what have you. So there is a harmony here, but for the sake of it, let's just keep in mind that Mars is very close to Cancer here. And Cancer is where Mars is debilitated. I've been saying in all these videos, if you look at a Western astrology book and it says Mars is debilitated in Cancer, And you think, oh, good, my Mars is in Virgo, so it's not debilitated. Well, it's actually the proximity to Cancer that reflects debilitation. Now, it's 2 signs away. It's not as bad as Mars and Cancer. But it's still pretty close. So it's a very melty place for Mars. Mars is already a melty planet. It's like a car that gets hot. It's not a bad thing that a car gets hot because that's the combustion that drives us forward. But if you take a car that gets really hot and you put it in the desert where it's not used to being that hot, and you just keep it running in the sun idling, which is kind of really what this Mars in Virgo does. It's the perfect picture of it. It's an idling vehicle because Mars in Virgo overthinks what it's going to do with its energy. And it's like, I've got lots of energy, and it's this hot energy, but I don't know where to put it. I'm going to overthink everything, and you know what? This plan is not working out. I'm just going to scrap it. I'm just going to keep my energy inside, and I'm going to find another way to get out my frustrations. It's going to get it out in ways that are not grounding to what the Mars is really trying to do, which is to express the capacities of the sun. It might even distract itself a lot with little managerial jobs and things, and it might even be OCD, where it could be spending time being a good manager of a company, leading everybody by its aesthetic sense and taste. It might instead just go and organize its sock drawer just because, I just need to get some kind of OCD energy out. So the Mars in Virgo here is idling, and it's hot, and it wants to get this energy out, and it's trying to find a way which connects with the sun in order to get this energy out. Now, the sun, we're going to talk about how there is a plus here, because the sun's lord here, being Venus, because Venus rules Libra, the sun's lord, Venus, gets along with Mars's lord, Mercury, because Mars is in Virgo. Mars in Virgo needs Mercury to express itself, and it uses Mercury vibes to express itself. The sun uses Venus vibes to express itself, and Mercury and Venus are good friends, which is a good thing for this person. It's like a good fact of Mars and the sun are glued to each other in everybody's chart. Mars is the general, the strategizer, the warrior, who holds the channel for what the sun is trying to express. So Mars is for the sun. Mars is like the right hand, and the sun is like the brain, and it uses its right hand to do what it's got to do. Maybe the left hand is like Jupiter, that's like a shield that protects the person from ill opportunities. It's looking for opportunities. That's kind of like the shield, or it's kind of like the hand that can grab another person's blade and throw it away or poke them in the eyes or something. But Mars is the sword. It's the basic way for the sun to cut through what it wants to do. So when these two are in a mutual good resonance with each other, it's a good thing. Just consider, before we say that, I'm dying to get there, but I do have to say that the sun is debilitated in Libra. This means that the person is not looking... The sun is exalted in Aries, where the person challenges themselves, breaks through their routines, breaks through familiarity. They're not looking at the outside of what everybody wants them to be. They're looking at what they are inspired to project and become. And they're looking for glory. They're looking to break the mold, in their own mold. They're looking at the inside when the sun is in Aries. They're looking at the inside at what enriches and challenges the person to be the best that they can be. In Libra, the sun is now, instead of that, the sun is spending a lot of energy at what's a hot trend right now in the moment. And they'll spend a lot of energy cultivating what they think people will look good. They'll cultivate the artifice of glory and refinement and an aesthetic sensibility. But they might not actually be that inspired all the time to be what the sun is best. They can be good leaders. Libra can be a good leader. But they lead by observation of things and trends that are going on, and they lead by subtle. They're not a hard, tough leader, and other people might gain advantageous positions above them for having the intuition to say, this is what our company needs to do. Libra is more of like an advisor who tells the leader. It's kind of like a real left-hand man saying, if you take the company this way, this and this and this and this and this and this could happen. But if you take the company this way, this and this and this and this and this could happen. What should we do? I don't know. I can give you these things, and you just have to go with your inspiration to what that is. And then the lover or the boss or the employer says, thank you, I'm going to take all this into consideration, and I'm going to go here. And the Libra is going to be like, okay, yep, and that's what this is going to, they'll have the data. That's what Libra loves to do. They love to coerce, and they love to see what everybody in a group would like. They assimilate everyone's ideas and bring them to a democratic sense of like, this is what might please everybody. Although, as they say, by pleasing everyone, they often please no one, or trying to please everyone. Mars in Virgo exacerbates this even further because they don't even know what points of data to give because the Mars in Virgo is overthinking it. So the boss says, I have 3 prospective partners to make an alliance with. Which do you think I should do? The Libra is going to figure out aesthetically what the boss likes. And all of this is losing what the Libra really wants in life in a lot of ways. They're trying to look good to an employer, to a company, to a group, what have you. And having Mars in Virgo, they might even over worry about their role as a supporting influence. They might overthink it and say, well, there are 10,000 things that could come from all of these, and I have no idea which one you want me to give you. They could be like a yes man, and they could get worried with their decisions, and they may always be worried about their decisions. Kind of a frustrating thing to be in. But finally, as I said, there is some good that comes from this in relationships and in what they are, because Mars and Virgo, Virgo and Libra are good friends. Venus and Mercury are good friends. So the way of the Sun in Libra, who wants to get what everybody's desires are, wants to please everybody and find a route that's the sort of the middleman of everyone's different desires. When everyone says, I want pizza, I want Indian, I want Chinese, the Libra says, kind of in its way, like, well, this seems to be something that will fit everybody's taste in this moment. And there might be the Italian people are like, they might choose like Greek or something like that. And then the people, like the Italian people, will be like, okay, all right, that's close enough to mine. And it'll fit like 4 out of the 6 people. Whereas the 2 people will get pissed like, oh, we wanted like Indian. That's way different from what we wanted. But the Libra is going to kind of say, this is what everybody wants, so let's just deal, you know? The Mars in Virgo might even spend a lot of time being like, okay, well, let me see what's on the menu and see what might be the closest thing to what you want. And like they'll go so far out of their way to please every little thing that by the end of it, the Libra with Mars and Virgo is exhausted by all the little detailed demands, and they lose so much energy overthinking what everybody wants. And in the end, when the Libra is called to make another decision, they're like, look, I just spent all of my energy. They probably don't even have a lot of huge energy because of these planets being debilitated. So after all this aggravation, detail management, they finally lay back and say, look, I cannot be ready to make another decision right now. I have to let go and just like and dissolve. And then it's like, well, we need you to make a decision. If you're not going to do it for us, then someone's going to make this decision. And you're not looking very good on your post right now, are you? Frustrating part of the life of Libra, Sun, Mars, and Virgo. In relationships, this is a thing too. A man might get very exacerbated by trying to please all the little details, thinking that they have to please all the little details of their partner. But These are just 2 points in the chart. You might find your energy in other ways. You might be a person who has things that jive well with these 2 signs. Again, there is a positive sensibility here in the sense that the Venus is very dedicated to loving the partner, and the Mars in Virgo is dedicated to knowing all the details of what the partner likes. They might spend a lot of time figuring out the perfect schema for what would make their partner happy, and it does work well in that sense. The partner of this person will have somebody who's at their beck and call and who's looking to really enjoy them. They can be very refined. They can sense and research diligently what everyone likes and get a good bit of glissando and glamour for that fact and sake. So let's talk. That was my little interpretation of these signs. We're already 16 minutes in, so I digress. Let's read a little bit about what Erotic Astrology by Phyllis Vega says about the bedroom nature of Sun in Libra with Mars in Virgo. Sun in Libra, Mars in Virgo. Naturally peace-loving and amenable, you go out of your way to avoid discord or disagreement, and you refuse to settle for less than perfection in a partner. This is somebody who can really overthink love, thinking like the Mars in Virgo is like, I love to channel my energy in a perfect way, this perfect plan, and I'm going to find a partner who perfectly fits all that I can give them. And the Libra is also looking for aesthetic perfection. It senses when a person, it's like, the Libra says, like, I feel like getting Greek. And the other person says, I don't like Greek that much. The Libra will look for superficial things in romance and be like, oh, you don't, huh? Well, maybe we aren't that perfect after all. These are little details and stupid things that they will think are important in relationships and romance, and they can be curtailed. But even when they do commit to someone, they'll commit forever. If they really think that this is it, this is my person that I'm going to cinch to, they might find superficial things that are silly to attach to, and when they finally do, they will fully commit because that's what they want to do, and they will always get buffed in an annoying way when it's like, oh, I know that you don't like Greek, god damn it. Like they'll get frustrated when the lover gives an honest reaction to anything that they give, which is a frustrating thing for both parties involved. But eventually, if you're gonna learn your ways, and if your partner tells you, you get exasperated over every little thing, what can I do? Eventually, you'll learn how to get over these little buffs. You'll figure that out, But it is an energy that's there with this combination. So as a result of you'll refuse to settle for less than perfection in a partner. And as a result, it may take you a while to make a firm commitment, but once you do, you expect the relationship to last forever. You are idealistic and romantic. In the bedroom, you're prepared to invest a great deal of energy in creating a satisfying, intimate union. Rose petals, perfumes, and the whole 9 yards. A sensual, patient lover. You wait for the perfect time to make your move, and a slow, artful, sexy seduction is more your style than aggressive lovemaking. More of this sentiment, more of this kissy, just, oh, darn, like you might even just want to communicate little bits of poetry, and you're always feeling what energizes the person's body. This person could probably be an expert at finding erogenous zones, while also, when you find that perfect spot behind the lover's ear and they're like, oh wow, I really love that spot, and you'll be saying, oh well, I love you. I love seeing this beautiful smile on your face, and it just warms my soul to see your ecstasy in this way. All these little cute little constant communications that Mars in Virgo loves to give, and that Sun in Libra feels sentimental about. Every combination has its pluses and minuses. This is a heavy loaded one in terms of these 2 planets. But you have to see the good in these energies because it can be a delicious one. It can be a very sentimental, caring, and affectionate, and constantly affectionate one, a securing one that loves a deeply committed relationship and loves to share its sensibilities and love with its partner. Super cute. And it's true. It is nice. I got a lot of Venus energy in my chart. I would love somebody like this. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. I hope you guys dug the way that I talked about everything. Let me know in the comments if this hits the mark for you. I'm always learning. I'm always wanting to know how it went. I'm Dustin Cormier for How to Rock Astrology. This was a long video, long for this series. It's Sun in Libra, Mars in Virgo. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys on the next video.